A military hem with cuffs. Is it possible or impossible? The answer is actually somewhere in between. You're likely familiar with the standard hem. It's perfectly straight from front to back. You measure the inseam you want, and anything beyond that is folded underneath. Cuffs, or turn-ups, are a little more complicated. In addition to the desired inseam, you need extra fabric to fold on the outside up to your cuff height and then back down again underneath the hem. That is, if you want it all in one piece. You can cheat and cut other fabric, but that's generally more work. A military hem is a hem at an angle, so that the front is shorter than the back. All right. I haven't explained why tailors will say it's impossible. Let me demonstrate with this sheet of paper. I've marked where the cuff height should be with markers for both the inside and outside. When you fold it, you'll see that the fabric for the cuff doesn't align. So, there's not enough fabric to cover the front. And if you try using the straight horizontal edge you would normally use for cuffs, you're still too short. This is why tailors might say it's not possible. This is a military hem with cuffs. It is slightly angled, so it's shorter in the front. If you look underneath, this tailor has cut some of the fabric to give it more width, so that way it can actually reach all the way to the front. Here's a second pair. You'll notice that the fabric doesn't lie as flat as the other one. That's because this one was made differently. There's no cut in the fabric underneath. Instead, the fabric is actually tapered a little underneath the cuff, so that way there's enough fabric to make a cuff with a military hem. Now, the possibility of the military hem with cuffs is dependent on a number of factors. If you think back to geometry class, this illustration looks very similar to a right triangle. And in a right triangle, the hypotenuse will be the longest side. How long the hypotenuse is will be dependent on the width of the front piece of your trousers and the height difference in the hem. That's why there's only a certain height difference you can have with an already cut pair of trousers. Hence why the two samples I showed had very slight angles, much less than the illustration's 3/4 of an inch. That said, if you are custom making your pants and you've already determined you want a military hem with cuffs, the tailor should be able to adjust the pattern to accommodate the angle and cuff height you want. This has to be communicated before the fabric is cut, so the right amount of excess fabric is marked as part of the trouser pattern to align with the desired height difference and cuff height. With a standard hem, having no break on the trousers often means that they can look too short in the back because it doesn't cover enough of the back heel. But if it's angled, then you can lengthen the amount in the back so that it looks a little longer.